As an undergraduate, I tried to do a lot of different things. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, so I just tried to take a lot of courses in areas that I was interested in, and it ended up that I was taking more and more courses in literary studies, and found that that's what I loved and what I was better at. But I also, as time went on, spent more and more time in libraries, reading, and I really actually am thankful for that time as a student when you've got a lot of time that you can just sit and read, and I really enjoyed that part of being a student too.
What was your doctoral thesis?
It was on travel writing by couples in the French 19th century, and collaborations between men and women in travel writing.
What did you find out about it?
Oh, it was fun. It was a fun topic. I still actually like the topic, which most people don't say about their PhD work. But I discovered a bunch of couples, actually. First of all, a lot of people had looked at women's travel writing, but had looked more at the women who traveled by themselves in the 19th century, and then tended to marginalize them and showing that they were kind of eccentric. But it was interesting. I found a group of 8 couples who traveled together, who wrote together and published separate accounts of their travels, and so just discovering them and then showing the way that their texts worked together, that it wasn't always the man who was giving his authority and permission to the wife to write, but that the wives actually also contributed a lot. So I'm still working with one of my travelers. When I worked in her archives, she was involved in a literary jury. The first jury composed entirely of women. It's called the prix Femina.
Oh, I know
It's been
that.
called the prix Femina today. Yeah, so it's the second most prestigious literary award in France still today. And so she was one of the first women who was invited to be part of this jury, and along with 39 other women. And so I'm looking at this particular generation of women writers, how they came together, tried to seek recognition for the writing of their generation of women, and how they also just wanted to have a voice in contemporary literary discussions as well, to pass judgment themselves. Well, what I find interesting, what matters, is the role that women played in those early days. And there still is not the same amount of scholarship on women writers from that time period as there is for men. Going back to the history of the prizes, there are 6 books about the Prix Goncourt and about the early founding of the Goncourt that go into the archives of the different writers who were on the jury and really study this in depth. There's nothing. There's one PhD thesis about the Prix Femina and a couple articles, but there's still a real imbalance in the scholarship, and I think it's important to try to find an equilibrium there.
Why?
Well, because women played an important role in these things too. It's just so shocking to see that they've been forgotten and left out. And that's what I saw when I was working on travel writing as well, that women are just forgotten, left out of the scholarship. And once you start to replace them, it actually sheds a different light on not just their role, but on the whole of literary history, because you start to see other influences and other things that were recognized by contemporaries sometimes, but historians of literature have forgotten. I love my job. I feel so fortunate. I was thinking driving today, did I get to teach Flaubert?
Oh,
and
wow,
I love teaching
nice
Flaubert.